Ladies and gentlemen, it is a profound honor to be here today, speaking to you not just as individuals, but as guardians of your own health, your vitality, and your longevity. When we reach the age of 60 and beyond, our bodies and minds begin to tell a story we have written with every choice, every bite, every late night, every sunrise. And today, I want to speak about something that seems deceptively simple yet holds extraordinary power over this story: walnuts. Yes, walnuts? Those small, wrinkled gems of nature that carry within them the potential to nourish, heal, and protect our bodies in ways modern science is only beginning to fully appreciate. But here is the truth that most people don't hear: eating walnuts after 60 is not as simple as tossing them into a salad or cracking a few open for a snack. There are mistakes, 5 dangerous mistakes, that, if repeated, can undermine the very benefits you seek. I want to begin with a story. I once had a patient, a vibrant woman named Eleanor. She had just celebrated her 63rd birthday with her grandchildren, full of life, humor, and a spark that could light up any room. Eleanor came to me concerned. She had read countless articles about the miraculous benefits of walnuts for heart health, brain function, and longevity. Every morning, without fail, she would eat a handful of walnuts. But despite her dedication, her blood work was not improving. Her cholesterol remained high, and she felt fatigued in ways that surprised her. After a detailed conversation and careful analysis, we discovered that Eleanor had been making what I call the first dangerous mistake. She was eating walnuts that were rancid without even realizing it. You see, walnuts are rich in polyunsaturated fats, and while these fats are incredibly beneficial for reducing inflammation, supporting brain health, and regulating cholesterol, they are also extremely sensitive to heat, light, and air. Once walnuts go rancid, not only do they lose their nutritional value, but the oxidized fats they contain can promote cellular stress, essentially accelerating the very aging process we are trying to slow down. Eleanor was buying large bulk packs of walnuts, leaving them in the pantry for months, unaware that the benefits she sought were being counteracted. We adjusted her habits, encouraged her to store them properly in airtight containers in the refrigerator, and even rotated smaller quantities more frequently. Within weeks, she began to notice improvements in her energy levels, her digestion, and even in the clarity of her thinking. The second mistake I see frequently among individuals over 60 is underestimating portion sizes. I cannot tell you how often I encounter patients who assume that if a little is good, more must be better. Walnuts are nutrient-dense powerhouses containing omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and protein, but they are also calorie-rich. For older adults, who often experience changes in metabolism and digestive efficiency, consuming excessive amounts can lead to weight gain, bloating, and digestive discomfort. One gentleman, Robert, age 67, came to me frustrated. He had begun eating walnuts obsessively, believing they were a panacea for his high blood pressure and rising cholesterol. Yet he gained nearly 10 pounds in 2 months, felt sluggish, and was losing motivation to exercise. After reviewing his intake, we established a controlled portion of about a quarter cup per day, balanced with his overall diet. The change was transformative. Robert lost weight naturally, his blood pressure stabilized, and he regained a sense of confidence in his body, a reminder that even the healthiest foods must be respected in the quantities we consume. Third, many individuals unknowingly pair walnuts with foods or habits that neutralize their benefits. Sugar, for instance, is a silent saboteur. Imagine a patient named Margaret who diligently ate walnuts every day, but always accompanied them with sweetened yogurt or chocolate. Her fasting blood sugar levels were creeping higher, and her triglycerides were elevated. The very benefits of the walnuts, the anti-inflammatory properties and vascular protection, were being undermined by sugar-induced oxidative stress. It is not about restricting joy or pleasure in your diet. Rather, it is about understanding compatibility. Walnuts shine when paired with foods that enhance their properties: fresh fruits, leafy greens, or a simple drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. This awareness, this knowledge, is what transforms eating from a routine into a therapeutic, life-extending practice. The fourth mistake I want to address is the neglect of mindful chewing and digestion. Many people in their 60s and 70s believe that nuts, because they are small, are easy to eat. But the truth is, proper chewing is crucial. Walnuts contain tough cellular walls that hold the nutrients inside. If we swallow them too quickly, many of these nutrients pass through our digestive system unabsorbed. I had a patient, James, age 72, who complained of fatigue and brain fog. After watching him eat his walnuts, I noticed he chewed barely twice before swallowing. Simple adjustments, slower eating, chewing thoroughly, even allowing the walnuts to sit in the mouth for a few moments, dramatically improved nutrient absorption. Within weeks, James reported sharper thinking, more energy, and even better moods. This is not placebo. This is the biology of absorption, the intimate dance between food and body that we often overlook. And finally, the fifth and perhaps most insidious mistake is ignoring individual variability. We often hear that walnuts are universally beneficial, but the reality is far more nuanced. People with certain digestive conditions, nut allergies, or blood-thinning medications may experience adverse effects if they consume walnuts without consideration. I remember Mrs. Alvarez, a spirited 65-year-old who began experiencing unusual bruising after increasing her walnut intake. She had a mild sensitivity to vitamin K, and the omega-3 fatty acids in walnuts were enhancing the effects of her anticoagulant therapy. A simple adjustment, guided by an understanding of her medical history, prevented serious complications and allowed her to continue enjoying walnuts safely. This highlights a universal truth: longevity is not achieved through general rules alone. It is achieved through attentive listening to your body, informed choices, and sometimes the gentle humility to ask for guidance. Beyond the mechanics of consumption, we must understand why walnuts, and why nutrition more broadly, are so profoundly impactful after 60. Neuroscience teaches us that the brain, even in older age, retains the capacity for plasticity, the ability to adapt, regenerate, and form new connections. Walnuts, with their polyphenols and omega-3 fatty acids, actively support this neuroplasticity, protecting memory, cognition, and mood. Cardiovascular studies reveal that regular walnut intake improves endothelial function, reduces systemic inflammation, and supports healthy cholesterol levels. And emerging research even hints at epigenetic effects, meaning walnuts may influence how our genes express themselves, potentially slowing aspects of cellular aging. These are not abstract benefits, they are deeply tangible, translating into more mornings of vitality, sharper engagement with loved ones, and a resilience against the chronic illnesses that often shadow our later years. But knowledge alone is insufficient. Real-world transformation comes from integration, habit, mindfulness, and reverence for the intelligence of the body. I urge you, each one of you, to view your relationship with walnuts not as a simple dietary choice, but as a profound act of self-care, a declaration that your later decades will not merely be survived, but flourished. I invite you to consider not only what you eat, but how, why, and with whom. Imagine sharing a handful of walnuts with a grandchild, each bite reinforcing bonds, each chew reinforcing vitality, each mindful moment contributing to the architecture of a longer, healthier life. Let us now consider the subtle yet profound ways walnuts interact with our metabolism as we age. After 60, the body's ability to regulate blood sugar, manage cholesterol, and repair oxidative damage diminishes. Yet walnuts offer a remarkable counterbalance. I recall a patient named Harold, a retired engineer of 68, whose morning routine included coffee and a processed pastry. He had recently been diagnosed with borderline diabetes and high LDL cholesterol. When we restructured his breakfast to include a modest serving of walnuts, paired with a small portion of berries and unsweetened yogurt, his fasting glucose gradually stabilized. Within 3 months, Harold's blood work showed improved insulin sensitivity and reduced markers of inflammation. His story illustrates a key principle: the right foods, consumed thoughtfully, act not just as nutrition, but as medicine. Every walnut, when integrated intelligently into your diet, carries the potential to recalibrate your body's systems. We cannot overlook the psychological and emotional dimensions of eating, either. Many people in their 60s feel a sense of loss of energy, loss of mobility, loss of control over their health. These emotions can create stress, which in turn accelerates cellular aging and inflammation. Walnuts, through their nutrient density, can serve as a subtle yet powerful anchor for emotional well-being. I have seen patients like Margaret, age 66, who experienced mild depression and cognitive fatigue. When she began integrating walnuts mindfully into her meals, coupled with brief daily walks and hydration, her mood improved noticeably. Her story is not anecdotal. Studies show that omega-3 fatty acids from walnuts influence neurotransmitter function, reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression. Eating walnuts, then, becomes an act of reclaiming not just your physical health, but your mental and emotional equilibrium, a holistic reinforcement of vitality. Let us also examine an often overlooked aspect: the timing of consumption. Many assume that the benefits of walnuts are constant throughout the day, but research and clinical observation suggest that timing matters. Consuming walnuts in the morning can enhance satiety, stabilize blood sugar, and optimize cognitive function throughout the day. Late-night consumption, especially on top of an already calorically dense meal, may contribute to unwanted weight gain and metabolic strain. I once guided a patient, Thomas, 70, who had developed nocturnal indigestion and irregular sleep patterns. Simply moving his walnut intake to earlier in the day, combined with a mindful evening routine, dramatically improved his sleep quality and energy the next morning. This reminds us that longevity is not merely about what we consume, but also when we consume it, a rhythm and cadence to eating that harmonizes with the body's natural circadian processes. Now, let us address the hidden power of pairing walnuts with other nutrients to amplify their benefits. Walnuts alone are powerful, but when combined with foods rich in vitamin C, polyphenols, or soluble fiber, their anti-inflammatory and cardiovascular effects are magnified. One of my patients, Eleanor, the very woman we discussed earlier, adopted a morning ritual of walnuts with fresh orange segments and a handful of spinach. Within weeks, her inflammatory markers decreased, her joint stiffness eased, and she reported a newfound mental clarity. This illustrates a principle that the best nutrition for longevity is not isolated, but synergistic. Food is not a series of nutrients in isolation. It is an orchestra, and when played correctly, it produces harmony, resilience, and health. We must also recognize that mistakes in walnut consumption are often rooted in misconceptions and misinformation. Many people believe that the benefits of walnuts can be achieved through supplements alone. While supplements may have a role, they cannot replicate the complex matrix of compounds in whole walnuts: polyphenols, omega-3 fatty acids, protein, minerals, and the fiber that modulates absorption. Whole walnuts work in concert with our digestive system, microbiome, and enzymatic pathways in ways that supplements cannot replicate. Consider a patient, Sandra, age 65, who relied solely on a daily walnut oil capsule, believing she was achieving optimal cardiovascular and cognitive benefits. Her results were underwhelming. Once we reintroduced whole walnuts into her diet, along with mindful chewing and proper storage, her health markers improved dramatically. This underscores a crucial lesson. Nature's design is sophisticated, elegant, and optimized for human biology. Ignoring the whole food in favor of isolated extracts is a compromise we cannot afford if our goal is true longevity. We also need to address the importance of listening to the signals of your body. After 60, the ability to sense and respond to subtle cues becomes increasingly critical. Some people experience digestive discomfort, bloating, or mild allergic reactions to walnuts. These are not inconveniences. They are messages from your body signaling the need for moderation, preparation, or medical consultation. I recall a patient, Louise, 71, who loved walnuts but suffered from intermittent heartburn. Simple adjustments: soaking the walnuts overnight and consuming them with a small amount of healthy fat completely resolved his discomfort. Small adaptations, guided by attentiveness, can convert potential mistakes into lifelong habits of nourishment and protection. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey to longevity is not a race. It is an art. Every choice, every bite, every moment of mindfulness adds brushstrokes to the canvas of your health. Walnuts are more than just food, they are allies in this process. When stored correctly, eaten in the right portions, paired thoughtfully with complementary foods, chewed thoroughly, and respected in accordance with your unique physiology, walnuts become instruments of resilience, vitality, and longevity. As we stand here, I want you to imagine your life 10, 15, 20 years from now. Picture waking up with energy, clarity of mind, strength in your joints, and a heart resilient against disease. Picture enjoying the warmth of your family, engaging in your passions, and feeling not the weight of age, but the lightness of well-cultivated health. Every choice you make today, from how you store a handful of walnuts to how you pair them with other foods, is an investment in that future self. You have the power to shape it, to redefine what aging means, and to embrace the decades ahead with vigor, joy, and purpose. And so, I challenge each of you to honor this knowledge not as a fleeting recommendation, but as a practice, a commitment to yourself, your family, and the life you have yet to live fully. Reimagine your approach to nutrition, listen to your body, respect the intelligence of nature, and make every walnut, every meal, every moment an act of intentional care. The path to longevity is not paved by chance, but by conscious, informed choices that honor the incredible potential within you at this very stage of life. This is not just about walnuts. This is about reclaiming control, harnessing the wisdom of your body, and cultivating resilience in a world that often asks us to accept decline as inevitable. It is about standing up, literally and figuratively, to say, I am worthy of health. I am worthy of energy. I am worthy of life that is full, rich, and vibrant. And the smallest acts, the mindful choice to consume a handful of walnuts correctly, are a powerful testament to that declaration. So, let us step forward together with intention, with awareness, and with courage. Let every bite you take be a vote for your longevity. Let every habit you cultivate echo with the power of decades lived fully, consciously, and with grace. Let this be the moment where knowledge becomes action, and action becomes life itself. And in doing so, may your later years be not a quiet fading, but a brilliant flourishing, a testament to the choices you made, the wisdom you embraced, and the life you fiercely, beautifully lived.